morning, good afternoon, good evening, Jar of Marble dwellers and Jar of Marble curious. My name is Linda and this is Jar of Marbles. And I'm Bob. It's good to see you, Bob. So, I know. All right there, control yourself. Do I have to? Oh, no, you usually don't. So, anyway, welcome. This week, I want to talk a little bit about GenerationJones, which is 1954 to 1965. Never heard of it. Well, actually, either had I. And then I just came across it. So I thought, after a little bit of research, I talk about 10 things about them in 2026. GenerationJones, not boomers, not Gen X. We're in the creamy middle of the generational Oreo. Oh. GenerationJones refers to people born roughly between 1954 and 1965, a group that sits between the later baby boomers and the early Generation X. No way. Yeah. So the term was popularised by cultural commentator Jonathan Pontel, who argued that this micro-generation has its own distinct identity shaped by timing and social change. How did I get this far in life to not know I was a Gen Joneser? Yeah, how did you? So why the name Jones? Well, the word Jones comes from the slang phrase keeping up with the Joneses, reflecting competition and rising consumer culture, a feeling of jonesing, longing for the prosperity and optimism earlier boomers experienced. Hey, was just invited to an event that doesn't start till 8 in the evening. I'm sorry, but not all of us are on cocaine. Yeah, the bra is off. It's not going back on. Yeah, whatever. So members of GenerationJones were born during the post-war baby boom, but they were too young to fully participate in the 1960s counterculture and civil rights activism as adults. #GenerationJones. Yep, 1954 till 1961. That's you, isn't it? Yes, it is, Bob. So by the time Gen Jones came of age, the social and economic climate had shifted. You know, friendship's like pissing your pants. Everyone can see it, but only you can feel its true warmth. So thank you for being the piss in my pants. Oh, you are delightful, Bob. Yeah, I think we need some historical context, though. All right, well, I'll see what I can do for you. GenerationJones grew up during the height of the Cold War. Elvis died. Yeah? Yeah, I remember that day, and it was a very quiet day. People genuinely were in shock. That was 1977, the Vietnam War, but were generally too young to serve in its early years. The Watergate scandal, the oil crisis, and economic stagflation of the 1970s. Sometimes I look at people and I think, really? That's the sperm that won? Quite the thought there. Yeah, oh, I know. So unlike older boomers who experienced the optimism of the early 1960s, GenerationJones entered adulthood during economic uncertainty, rising inflation and job competition. You know you're getting older when you can no longer watch movies without subtitles because you have no idea what's being said. Oh, I'm there. Well, they talk fast sometimes. Then what marched in but cultural identity? GenerationJones is often described as more sceptical than older boomers, less idealistic, more pragmatic. Yeah, I see that. Career focused due to economic pressures, independent, but not as detached as Gen X. It's not really procrastination if I never have any intention of doing it, eh? Oh, no, I suppose not. So the Gen Joneses were the first generation to grow up fully immersed in television culture, watching shows like The Brady Bunch, and later coming of age in the era of MTV, which was launched in 1981. That's right. Some days I feel like I'm surrounded by idiots, and other days I realise it's not just some days. Ooh. So musically, they experienced the transition from classic rock to new wave and early hip-hop. The music was amazing, though. It was a really amazing time. Yeah, it was. So economic and social experience. Many in GenerationJones faced a tougher job market than earlier boomers, experienced rising divorce rates during childhood. So by the 1970s, the impact of this legislation was clearly visible in rising divorce statistics. I'm a red flag, but the material is quality. Says you.
Yeah, says me, yeah.
So social attitudes were also shifting. The late 1960s and early 1970s saw the influence of global social change, including the women's liberation movement. In New Zealand, as an example,
You were raised in New Zealand?
yes, I was, women increasingly entered the workforce, gained greater financial independence, and questioned traditional gender roles within marriage.
Yeah?
Yeah. So as expectations of marriage evolved from economic partnership and duty toward emotional fulfillment and personal happiness, couples were more willing to separate if relationships were unhappy.
Part of me says I should slow down on the drinking, and the other part says, hey, don't listen to her, she's drunk.
So, hashtag Generation Jones. Gen Joneses were among the first to see large numbers of women entering the workforce.
That was normal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was becoming that way. I recall how it was common for dad to go out and work and mum did the raising the family, the home thing, but it was changing fast before my eyes. We entered adulthood well before the digital revolution.
I was thinking that the phrase don't take it the wrong way is zero success rate.
Might be onto something there.
Oh, I know I am, yeah.
So they benefited from some post-war prosperity but did not enjoy the same economic advantages as older boomers, particularly regarding affordable housing and college costs.
I don't bottle my feelings, the pharmacy does, yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So now looking at political and social influence, politically Generation Jones often shows a mix of boomer activism and Gen X pragmatism.
Oh, that's a nice little combo.
Yeah, there was lower trust in institutions following Watergate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the loss of trust after Watergate refers to the widespread erosion of public confidence in political leadership and major institutions. Following the Watergate scandal, people started looking at things differently and asking questions.
Oh, yeah.
The scandal, which led to the resignation of US President Richard Nixon in 1974, exposed abuses of power, corruption and efforts to obstruct justice at the highest levels of government.
Geez, sounds all so familiar.
It does. Got people thinking.
Yeah, got them thinking. Yeah, I'm thinking.
A tendency toward moderate or shifting political views. Some public figures born during this period include Barack Obama, he was born 1961, and Elon Musk, born 1971.
I did a push-up today. Well, actually, I fell down, but I had to use my arms to get up. So, close enough.
So how Generation Jones differs. Older boomers, 1946 to 1953, civil rights activists, Vietnam draft age, 1960s idealism, early economic prosperity, compared to Generation Jones, 1954 to 1965, came of age post-activism, too young for early draft, 1970s realism and stagflation and competition.
It costs nothing to be kind. Some days, though, it costs me my sanity.
So, hashtag Generation Jones. Generation Jones is a bridge generation shaped by the optimism of post-war America and defined by the realities of the 1970s and early 1980s.
During my prostate exam, I asked the doctor, where do I put my pants? He said, over there by mine was not the answer I was expecting.
Oh, Bob. So, Generation Jones often feels culturally distinct from both baby boomers and Generation X, carrying a blend of ambition, skepticism and adaptability. Life stage where Gen Joneses are now entering later adulthood.
Hey, wait a minute, that's you.
Well, yes, Bob. So as of 2026, most Generation Joneses are in their late 50s to early 70s, a stage of life marked by, well, we're a different generation, far different to many of our parents' generation. We didn't get to 50 and go, well, there you go, it's over now, I'm old, life is over.
Gen X raised on hose water and neglect, weren't they?
Well, same with us, Joneses, absolutely. Instead, fashion continues to be of interest, still working way into our 70s. We're thinking through how we want to live. We're not following the blueprint of old.
Ha! Following the blueprint of old. I like that.
Good. We know we have choices. We are travelling a lot. if that's your thing, we're experiencing life from a very sexy angle. We have more time, or at least we utilise our time, even if it is watching a fave show all day, to joining new groups to keep life interesting and fresh. We're not locking ourselves away because we are apparently to be insignificant now.
I do not think so.
Importantly, we have bundles of self-worth and self-respect, seen plenty, and we're not insignificant to ourselves. So we are not interested in others' view of growing old. It's just such a crock. Youth is not a standard. It's a season. It's just a season.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Well, it is. It's only a part of the whole deal. Yeah, so it's just a season and seasons change.
Balloons are so weird. Happy birthday. Here's a plastic sack of my breath.
I personally will not be ageing gracefully. I've got my best stuff happening and moving forward. My humour's still intact and I have years of material and life to refer to. I think I will age
vengefully.
No, I think I'll just age full stop. And as I do, I will be enjoying myself and doing the things I want to, and I do. I am a healthy eater by choice, so when I say I eat what I want, it's nothing that's going to damage any of my cells or my gut health.
Not only did I fall from the diet wagon, I dragged it into the woods, set it on fire and used the insurance money to buy cake.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I thought so.
So #GenerationJones. So the Gen Jones have mindful retirement planning. Many are nearing or entering retirement.
Have you retired?
No, not in my foreseeable future, Bob. In some ways I have retired, but I'm still looking at doing other things. There's health priorities, chronic condition management and preventive care are becoming more prominent. We're thinking what we're actually doing now. I was having a conversation with a lady the other day. I was in an op shop and I wanted to buy a cushion for my knees when I'm out gardening. And she went, oh, well, that's a good idea. She said, but the only problem is, she said, I can get down on my knees. She said, but I can't get back up. And I thought, oh, well, that's where the exercise comes in. I didn't say that to her, but because you can, you read the room, you read your people and think, no, they don't want to hear that. But there's no way I'd be able to get back up if I wasn't exercising on a regular basis. Then there's family dynamics, sandwich generation pressures, caring for ageing parents while supporting adult children or grandchildren.
Life is short, smile while you still have teeth, I say.
And there's life transitions, shifting from full-time work to part-time. Consulting or volunteer work is really popular too.
Hey, sometimes I think I'm too sarcastic, but then I remember the people I deal with and I'm fine again.
Good on you, Bob. In general, this cohort is experiencing the expected physical and social shifts that come with mid to later adulthood, but within a unique economic and cultural context.
As Zig Ziglar said, people often say that motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing, but that's why we recommend it daily.
True words there, Bob and Zig.
Yeah.
So work and finances, facing economic realities. Generation Jones is often characterised by retirement uncertainty.
Oh no, I like to work in the morning. I just don't like to be awake while I'm doing it.
Well, we don't want to disturb you.
Well, I'd rather you didn't.
So unlike early boomers who might have had more secure pensions or home equity growth in the 1980s to maybe the 90s, many Gen Jones workers experienced stagnant wage growth, faced job insecurity from globalisation and automation.
Automation? What?
Well, yeah, Bob. Home automation is widely used in modern houses. Smart devices can control lighting, temperature, security and appliances automatically.
Oh, yeah.
In businesses and offices, automated payroll systems, email marketing tools, customer service chatbots, scheduling software.
Banking?
Yeah. ATMs for cash withdrawal, online banking apps, automated fraud detection systems, digital payment platforms like
PayPal?
Yeah, and Google Pay. This means many Gen Joneses are evaluating retirement timelines more cautiously than older boomers did at the same age.
Yeah, right. The older I get, the more I understand why witches from fairy tales moved out to the middle of the woods and put an ancient curse on anyone who disturbed them.
Quite the consideration there, Bob.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, with housing and wealth, home ownership rates, obviously they vary widely, but many Gen Joneses bought homes later in life, have less mortgage equity than early boomers did, say, at similar ages.
I've been thinking that you don't become cooler with age, but you do care progressively less about being cool, which is the only true way to actually be cool.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So the Gen Joneses may consider downsizing, relocating, or tapping retirement savings. So then there's social safety nets, healthcare costs, long-term care planning, superannuation is important, and policy discussions are increasingly pressing for this generation.
Hey, pharmacists have the best prescriptions for happiness, but they still can't cure Mondays.
Right.
Yeah.
So with health and well-being, ageing naturally comes with health challenges. For Gen Jones, preventative care is smart, and they know it, and chronic disease management are major themes.
Yeah, major themes. I told my doctor I broke my arm in 2 places, and he told me to stop going to those places.
Wise doctor.
Yeah.
So with mental health, awareness is rising, especially around caregiving stress, lots of peers and the transition from full-time work.
Yeah, that's a biggie.
Many have focus on lifestyle, on fitness, diet and wellness persists well into the 60s and 70s. They are a force now.
You're a force.
Yes, I am. And that's a choice. If you have health on side, there's no reason why your 60s cannot be inspiring. Gen Jones tend to value active ageing, not simply slowing down, but staying engaged.
Bit more than engaged, I say.
Yeah, a bit more, yes. Cultural identity between boomers and Gen X. Generation Jones often describes itself as having boomer values mixed with Gen X skepticism, a sense of missed cultural milestones, too young for 60s counterculture, too old for 80s, 90s youth culture, a pragmatic worldview shaped by economic uncertainty, stagflation, recessions, job market shifts.
I'm not saying I don't like you much, but I would unplug your life support to charge my iPad.
Bob, you really are terrible.
No, I'm not.
You just say terrible things.
Yeah, no, I like it.
Oh, no. This in-between identity affects how they view work, technology adoption, and cultural change.
Yeah, okay.
So with tech and connection, Gen Jones genuinely adopted technology in adulthood. Yeah, that's absolutely right. Not born into it like later generations. My daughter, when she went to daycare once a week, she was 3, and her first photo is sitting on a little chair in front of a computer that was her normal.
When you get older, you don't necessarily figure anything out. You just don't have the energy to care anymore.
You could be onto something there.
Yeah.
Gen Jones generally uses digital tools for communication, information and convenience. I was in my 40s when I received my first mobile phone. We do value tech that enhances connection with family, health management and productivity. They bridge analogue roots like typewriters, landlines, early TVs with digital fluency.
Yeah, that's because you've seen other eras before technology that anyone can access.
Correct, Bob. Social roles and contributions. Today, many Generation Joneses are leaders and mentors in workplaces, caregivers to both older and younger family members.
I had a thought, but unfortunately I had another thought that ricocheted off each other and I can't find either of them anymore. It's tough thinking.
So Gen Joneses are community volunteers, political and cultural influencers, though their voice is less defined than baby boomers or millennials. They often see themselves as pragmatic problem solvers, shaped by both boomer ambition and Gen X resilience. And sometimes we can live vicariously through our children, which often is more than enough.
I've already walked the walk and talked the talk. Now I'm just going to sit the sit.
That's the way.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah.
Generation Jones today is in later adulthood, navigating retirement, health and family. Economically cautious due to uneven wage growth and market shifts, culturally in between, adopting tech but shaped by analogue beginnings, balancing caregiving, work transitions and community roles, or even looking for work.
I'm trying to remember something I told myself to remember, but all I can remember,
You already told us that, Joe.
I don't care, all right. Oh, see what I mean? I couldn't even remember I did that.
I know, Bob, it's okay. Their ageing experience,
Oh, I've got something wrong with my memory.
you'll be all right, Bob.
So why the names of the generations? I get bloody confused.
Fair. That's fair, Bob. The practice of naming generations such as baby boomers or Gen Z or Z emerged from efforts by sociologists, marketers, historians, to understand how shared historical experiences shape groups of people born around the same time.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
Generational labels help describe patterns in attitudes, behaviours, and cultural influences that develop when people grow up under similar social, technological, and economic conditions.
Like, you're really old, so your influences would be different to, say, a millennial or a Gen Z.
Precisely.
So why generations are named?
Generation names arise for several main reasons. They are the shared historical events. Major events influence the outlook of people who experience them during childhood or young adulthood.
Now that I've gotten older, I've come to realise why Bigfoot stays away from people.
There's your wisdom kicking in, Bob.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So, for example, people born after World War II experienced a dramatic rise in birth rates and economic growth, leading to the name baby boomers.
Always wondered about that name. I thought they were just childish generation.
So later generations were shaped by events such as the Cold War, globalisation and rapid technological change.
I only say bless you twice. If you sneeze a third time, I'm assume it didn't take and that you're a demon.
Then there is cultural and social identity. Generational labels help societies discuss cultural shifts. Each generation develops distinct values, communication styles, and social norms.
They make up words.
They do. For example, Generation X was often associated with independence and skepticism, while millennials were shaped by the rise of the internet and globalisation.
I don't need a stress ball. I need a stress bat.
A stress bat, you say, Bob?
Yeah.
So with academic and marketing research, businesses, governments and researchers can use generational categories to study trends in education, consumer behaviour, and political attitudes.
I have no words to describe today. I do, however, have a ton of obscene gestures.
Show me later.
Not now?
No, not now. Naming generations help organise large demographic groups and predict future social trends.
Sounds a bit sussaroony to me.
A simplified timeline often used by researchers includes,
Here we go.
baby boomers, approximately 1946 to 1964, Generation Jones,
Oh, yeah.
1954 to 1961, Generation X, approximately 1965, 1980, grew up during economic shifts and the rise of personal computers.
Oh, yeah, true.
Millennials or Gen Y, approximately 1981 to 1996, Generation Z, 1997 to 2012, and the first generation fully raised in the digital era with smartphones and constant connectivity. Then we've got Generation Alpha, approximately 2013 to the 2020s. So these labels are not exact scientific categories. Different researchers sometimes use slightly different birth year ranges.
Like GenerationJones.
Yeah, it was news to me too when I came across that little nugget.
So why the names change?
Well, the naming pattern often reflects the context of the time.
Hey, I don't let anyone ruin your day. It's your day. Ruin it yourself. Are there predicted future generations?
Yeah, researchers have become speculating about generations that will follow Generation Alpha, a Generation Beta, BETA, likely born mid-2020s to the late 2030s, is expected to grow up in a world strongly shaped by several influences: artificial intelligence and automation.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
AI systems will likely be integrated into education, workplaces and daily life.
Well, they're on the way now.
Yeah, potentially transforming how people learn and work. #GenerationJones. Climate and environmental change, environmental challenges and sustainability.
What was that?
Don't you worry about it. Policies may shape lifestyle choices, energy use and political priorities.
We've well and truly reached that place.
Advanced digital environments.
Well, apparently rock bottom has a basement.
Well, okay. With global connectivity, future generations may experience even greater cultural blending due to global communication and migration.
I think I'm addicted to cheese. Don't worry, it's only mild.
So what about the long-term outlook? Well, future generations or future generational identities will likely be influenced by several large-scale trends, which will involve technological innovation, AI, robotics, biotechnology.
Well, that's kind of here, isn't it? Well, yeah, it is, isn't it?
Well, yes, well and truly on its way. Environmental changes, sustainability efforts, shifting economic structures and new forms of work.
Hey, being an adult's all about being tired, telling people how tired you are, or listening to other people tell you how tired they are, yeah?
Why don't we all agree just to take a nap? So, because these factors continue to evolve, the exact characteristics of future generations remain uncertain.
Yeah, I can see that. That's fair.
However, like earlier generations, they will likely be defined by a unique combination of historical events, technologies, and social conditions they experience while growing up.
Here's hoping it's glorious.
Here's hoping, Bob. And that brings us to the end of another episode.
No!
Yes, and it was fun.
Yeah, it was.
So, say good day to the family for me, give the cock a bow, and we'll see you next time, okay? Okay then. Bye.
Bye!